Team Ciampa gets a buddy, and the women get all bloody. This is NXT.
Support, no DQ.
Welcome everybody to What's NXT for, let's see, November 13th. There it is, 2019. I'm your host, the Rated R reviewer, Stephen Osborne, joined as always by the General Jerry Slaughter.
The General is my slave name. I am back to being the gentleman.
I'm sorry, the Gentleman, Jerry Slaughter.
Good morning, wrestling fans.
And this morning we had a pretty good show, pretty bloody show.
Yes.
And all about in the women's matches. Just blood everywhere, and there's a joke we can make about that, but we're not
going to because we're gentlemen.
Well, you are. We start off tonight's show with Angel Garza versus Lio Rush for the NXT Cruiserweight Championship. And let me just say, what a match.
Oh, yes.
I might have more notes for this match than I do anything else on the entire show.
It was a hell of a way to kick off the show in itself. You know, Hector, I almost called him Hector Garza Jr., can't call him that. Angel Garza won the number one contenders match, and now he faces Lio Rush. But at the same time, I really didn't see him walking out with the victory since we're so early in the Lio Rush's reign. But they put on a hell of a show for his first match.
Yeah, it went down to the wire. Either guy could have won. There was at least one spot in there where I thought Angel Garza was going to win.
Oh, yeah.
But he did not. Yeah, I've got like several high spots. What were your favorite spots of this match? Because there was a lot of really good moments.
Well, they made it extremely personal, and that's what I think, add to the flavor a little bit. Because initially all you had was just the number one contenders match, and then yay, now we're in a match. But Angel Garza decided to rip off his pants right in front of Lio Rush's wife.
Yeah, that's my first note for the match. That's how he gets in Lio Rush's head. And yeah, he pissed him off all right, because as soon as he gets back over the railing, Lio Rush just dives on the outside to him. Throws him back in the ring and hits some shit.
I think he wanted the temper to flare up just so that he could possibly take advantage of it, and he does a couple times in a match. Like, Lio Rush just completely loses control during it. But
yeah, that was the only suicide dive that Lio Rush actually hits. The second one he goes for, he comes off of a wrecking ball drop kick, and then comes back out for a suicida, but Garza catches him mid-air and hits him with a power slam on the outside, and that was fucking wicked.
Yes.
It didn't look pristine or anything. Like, it looked like...
It's not supposed to with a move like that.
Man, it looked like he was about a half a second away from losing him and just letting him go out into the fucking... up onto the ramp. But anyway, it was still cool.
Mm-hmm.
Lio Rush goes to do that springboard stunner several times. At least 3 times in this match, I think. The first one gets countered with a drop kick to the back of the head, though.
Yeah.
That was just, or maybe it was the second attempt. I think the first attempt didn't hit at all. Maybe he goes for 4 of these son bitches. Apparently, people like the come up. That's what he calls it, the come up.
Yep.
But let's see. After the drop kick to the back of his head, he kicks out after 1, I think.
Yes.
He didn't even make it to 3.
No. Well, I was about to say if he made it to 3, it would have ended the match.
Sorry, didn't even make it to 2. After the kick out, Garza goes up for that delayed lion salt and misses. Lio Rush dodges and then picks him up and hits what I can only call a swinging unprettier.
Yeah.
Wow.
I was about to
what
say,
a fucking move. I've never seen that shit before.
Derek Frazier used it in the old Combat Zone Wrestling and called it Pure Impact. And beautiful move, and I'm glad to see somebody's finally using it because it's a really sick looking maneuver. If you haven't watched this match, you kind of.
Speaking of somebody finally using a sick-looking maneuver, if you guys have been with us for the last several weeks, months, or even the last year, you probably remember me from a couple of weeks ago talking about the Spanish Fly Power Slam that Cameron Grimes does. And I'm like, why can't somebody just pick someone up like a fall-away slam and follow through with the backflip to do a standing moonsault power slam? I was like, it'd be even better off the corner, off the turnbuckle. Sure enough, Angel Garza hits a top rope, fall-away slam, backflip into a moonsault power slam.
Yeah.
Wow.
Just brilliantly executed.
Wow. Holy shitballs. He only gets a near fall off of it, though. My next high spot here, Leo hits, he finally hits the come up, but holds on, and then picks up Garza, smacks him in the face, let's go of that cravat, smacks him in the face, and then goes for another come up, but Garza grabs it, flips it, picks him up, turns him around, and hits that wing clipper.
Yeah.
That it's basically an inverted Bubba Bomb, essentially.
Yeah.
And he only gets a near fall, though. I thought he was going to get the win here. He did not. Leo Rush kicks out of that. That was crazy. Then he goes for the Avalanche wing clipper. Like, literally locks on the wing clipper and then drags Leo Rush up to, I guess he was standing on the middle rope. But Rush counters with a bunch of headbutts. And then Garza starts countering with headbutts. So they're dueling headbutts. And it's like they both go cold. And Leo Rush falls back, but his feet are under Garza's armpits. So he flips him off the top rope. And then he gets up and realizes he's got the advantage. Goes up top. He hits the final hour for a near fall. He hits his finishing move, and Garza still kicks out. So he goes back up top. Garza's only getting up because he's using the ropes. And as soon as he gets to his feet, Leo Rush hits him with another final hour to a standing Garza, who falls victim. 1, 2, 3. But even though Leo Rush gets the pinfall victory, during the 2 count, Garza's feet were on, or at least one foot was on the ropes.
Yep. And during the whole 3 count in general, like the legs were under the ropes.
Count 1, there was a foot under the ropes, but could have been misconstrued. Not near enough for it to necessarily be recognizable by the ref. But at the 2 count, his foot was literally touching the rope. And then Leo had pulled his legs back for the 3 count. So by the 3 count, his legs weren't on the ropes or nothing. But I don't know. It makes them both look good. It makes it look like, Leo Rush got the win, but not necessarily.
Yeah.
Like Garza could have, gotten the pinfall stopped if the ref had noticed, and maybe still won the match. So this was awesome. Probably the best match of the show.
I'm gonna agree with that statement.
Like, just beautiful from start to finish.
I'm starting to think we'll probably get that as a dark match for War Games Takeover. Will probably be the rematch for that one.
So we've got 4 people watching, but we definitely have the Cleaver Colin Andrew and the Holiday Chris Mace in the chat room talking between themselves. If you guys don't know, this is as good a time as any to mention it. This will be our last, not only live stream on NoDQ.com's YouTube channel, but this will be the last time What's NXT will be on NoDQ.com's YouTube channel. The new algorithms are forcing Aaron to get rid of the shows like ours and 205 Live that don't get enough views. He's afraid he's going to lose his channel or lose his monetization, and I don't blame him.
No.
But he's given us a platform for the last year plus to show this show. I think we've gotten as many viewers and subscribers from his group of subscribers that we're going to get. So I don't think it's all that big of a deal. I do appreciate the year that we've been on NoDQ, but I think it's time for us to go to our channel and try and, expand our channel instead of just using Aaron's and his followers. So if you want to keep watching this show, it is important. You are only going to find it on Aftermatch from now on. So you can subscribe to Aftermatch Wrestling. That's all one word, AFTERMATCH, Aftermatch Wrestling. And click that bell icon and it'll let you know when these shows go up. or if you just search for them, then you may not get them quite as high on your search bar.
No.
I'm pretty sure Aaron's channel is muy more importante. And
that's Spanish for more important.
No, it isn't. No, it isn't. So anyway, we will be moving all of our shows exclusively to Aftermatch. So if you still want to see these shows, go and subscribe. Help us out. Help us get to 1,000 so it'd be easier for us to go live. Because I'm not sure if we could do this show live on our channel. We're going to keep trying, but I'm not sure that it's possible. So we shall see. In the meantime, let's move on. Mm-hmm. Outside, we get kind of breaking news, I guess. Camera's running outside, and there's a bunch of people out there, and there's motherfuckers laid out. Come to find out, Tegan Knox and Rhea Ripley have been taken out by somebody. We don't know who, but they're being attended to. Still a little bit light outside. Rhea looks out. Yeah. Like, I was concerned. I was fucking concerned. She wasn't moving, and her eyes were closed.
He was ready to jump up and do CPR, but he realized that was live television, and chances are she's up by now.
I mean, I'm just gonna go get a flight to Florida. go find her in the hospital, make sure she's all right. You know, some balloons and flowers and cake, whatever. And engagement ring, just whatever. So this is setting the stage that somebody is invading NXT this week. We don't know who yet, but at the very least, we know it's a woman or women. Because dudes aren't taking out the women. They don't do that. They don't do that. Our second match of the night, Xia Li versus Aaliyah, coming out with Vanessa Bourne, who is dressed kind of conservative. Doesn't really negate her extreme allure.
Nope.
But she is dressed a little conservatively. And not for nothing. I mean, there's not really any reason for her to be dressed for a good occasion because Aaliyah loses.
Yeah.
This match doesn't take too long. Xia Li has already beaten her once, and this is, at least we're not doing 50-50 booking. This is Xia Li. I think the last time they had a match, it ended wrong. Like, I think Xia Li might have hurt Aaliyah.
Yeah. And this so one was no different. Early.
Yeah, this wasn't even part 2. This was a remake of part 1. Like, very short. I think Aaliyah might have gotten one little bit of offense and then a whole bunch of kicks, and somewhere along the way, fucking Xia Li hurt Aaliyah again. Because she goes to do a front kick, Aaliyah ducks, and then she comes around with a roundhouse back kick and connects with her face. Yeah, she connected with her face. She got the pinfall. She got the 1, 2, 3. But afterwards, like, you've got a doctor in the ring with a towel, and Aaliyah is just, like, spitting out blood.
Yep.
So I think she got her lip busted open because it was that really pinkish blood that's not like, oh, I'm actually coughing up blood or anything, or it's coming from the nose. I think she just got her lip busted open, but pretty fucking badly. Like, it was a nice little pool of blood in that towel.
I think what they'll end up doing is playing it up and having her wear some sort of mask or some way of covering it up, kind of give it that kind of vein type gimmick, which would be the best way of doing it, I think.
Well, at least it wasn't a bait or a heel busting her open, because then we'd have to see some aftermatch, and you don't do aftermatch to somebody that's already bleeding. Mm-mm. But then again, stay tuned, folks. After this, we get a video promo for Killian Dane versus Pete Dunne. Yes, we are getting that match tonight. That is one of our dual main events, and I'll let you guess as to whether it's that one or the women's ladder match that actually closes the show. Or maybe you already watched the show and you know. But anyway, great promo. NXT.
Oh, yeah.
Enough said. Finn Balor comes out. He's going to do an in-ring promo, and he begins to trash NXT. This is the NXT that I left? Like, yep. This is it? And he trashes Gargano, who's supposed to be the heart and soul of NXT, and basically calls him a little bitch. And then, speaking of little bitches, I guess the crowd starts chanting something bro or some whatnot. But he decides to attack Matt Riddle, verbally, of course.
Yeah.
And Matt Riddle decides to come out and attack Finn Balor physically. Catches him from behind and just starts beating him down. Sends him scurrying off. And then out comes the Undisputed Era. And they surround the ring, and Adam Cole's got a mic, and he says, wrong place, wrong time. And they go to surround him. But instead of getting in the ring, we hear Tommaso Ciampa's music. And of course, right? Because Because he's one third of the four men in the War Games match.
That was tough to get out, wasn't it?
Yeah, I had to do the math in my head first, and then
That's some
because they're
Steiner
not
math.
1/3 of the team; they're only 1/3 of the three of the four that are announced for the team. Yeah, it's complicated.
1 plus 3
Plus one plus.
one.
So Tommaso Ciampa and Keith Lee come out and they join Matt Riddle in the ring, and let's see what happens. Basically, Undisputed Era grab the mic, and then Keith Lee grabs the mic, and Keith Lee calls out Adam Cole, but then Roderick Strong gets the mic, and he defends Adam Cole, saying he deserves a night off.
He deserves a night off. He had an awesome week.
If you're going to face anybody, face me. And so that's what we're going to get, apparently.
Yep.
Keith Lee draws a line in the sand on the mat. Whatever. Let's see, Mick Doherty. Tell me how to pronounce that. Mick Doherty. What's up, lads? I believe he's new to the show.
Yeah.
The show.
And lads, so he must be.
I don't think he's watching anymore.
Oh.
We've only got 2 people watching. So apparently, our effort to try and get more views for the show, so that maybe we can stay on No DQ. Because if we get enough views, then he doesn't have to get rid of the show. Apparently, that's gone by the wayside. Nobody wants to watch. So thanks, guys.
Yeah,
Hopefully you're watching on demand, so we appreciate that. But we'll still only get 200, maybe 250. But that's all right. It's not bad for our show, even on Aaron's channel.
Oh, yeah.
But if you guys start watching on our channel, maybe we can get 250 on our channel, and for us, that's big. So,
we feel like Barbara fucking Walters.
So anyway, instead of the occasional 600 or 700 view show that just happens to be main roster stuff, usually. Maybe I should start covering the main roster.
That was just lightning the bottle right there. It's like 15, 20 minutes long of us just talking real quick. So
Keith Lee versus Roderick Strong. The match I didn't know I wanted tonight, but I definitely wanted, because this match was really, really fucking good.
It was brutal, is what it was.
And it had all kinds of storytelling, attempted interference that ended up being a distraction, but also builds up on the War Games match, but then still had a clean finish, and still yet after match built up more for the War Games match, and built another, this match was fucking loaded.
Yes.
This was a loaded potato inside a seven layer burrito.
Oh, that sounds delicious.
A loaded potato 7-layer burrito. Do it.
Get on, Taco Bell.
Do it, Taco Bell. I won't eat it, but I know he will.
It'll be like Fiesta potatoes inside of a fucking burrito.
I'm gonna break down some spots in this match. I don't have all of them, because the ones that I've already seen before I'm not necessarily impressed with yet, but still a bunch of shit I'd never seen. What did you think about this match here, Jerry?
We already knew they put on a great match from the triple threat match that we got between him, and then Dijakovic was in there as well. But seeing just the two of those two in the ring together, that was just brilliant. You had two, Roderick Strong is weirdly enough deceptively strong. He's got a lot of strength to him, he has to with all the backbreakers and everything he does, and all the suplexes, but he did more strikes than anything just to throw Keith Lee off his game, because there's only so much you can do with Keith Lee, because he's 325 pounds. There's only so many times you can lift that guy. So if you get him disoriented enough, that's the way you need to do it.
So my first note here is, oh my God, it was probably the hardest hit of the night, and that's tough to call.
Yeah.
But Roderick runs off the ropes, and he goes to do something, but he comes flying at Keith Lee, who just double slaps him in the chest down to the mat. Just the loudest.
Oh, I was about to say it was a Walter. It was like a Walter-like double slap to the chest.
Now, possibly the most powerful move of the night happens in this match too, because Roderick Strong actually lifts Keith Lee into a superplex, and not a top rope superplex. Roderick Strong was on the top rope. Keith Lee was standing on the middle rope. So we're talking even more, almost a deadlift, almost Cesaro-like.
Mm-hmm.
Holy shit.
Keith Lee bounced.
Near fall. And then Lee gets back on top, hits a... Well, Roderick starts hitting those forearms, running off the ropes while Keith Lee's like sort of resting on the ropes.
Keith Lee doesn't like this.
When he comes off of the far ropes, that the last time, Keith Lee just turns around and falls into a lariat that turns Roderick Strong inside out. Just crazy. Undisputed Era come out at this point, and then that's followed immediately by Tommaso Ciampa and Matt Riddle, who come down to cut them off before they can get to the ring and interfere. But then Balor comes out, and he attacks Riddle, and just fucking waylays Riddle. Hits him with the sling blade, hits him with the basement drop kick, hits him with...
the 1916, I think he did.
He hit him with a bunch of shit.
Yeah.
He just laid Matt Riddle the fuck out. And while all of this mayhem was going on outside, you would think that Roderick Strong would get the, a swift move and a pinfall. He does on Lee, who turns around into a high knee and then gets a Olympic slam for his efforts.
Yeah.
But he kicks out, and eventually he puts Strong in the, what do you call it, Big Bang Catastrophe pinfall. Keith Lee pins the North American Championship.
Yep.
Champion.
Non-title.
So shout out to Mark's Reviews and shout out to David Wasco. Thoughts on Jordan Miles? We will get to that. Please remind us at the end of the show, and we will get to that question. I want to finish with this match though first, because that's not it. Because Undisputed Era get in the ring and they attack Ciampa and then they attack Lee, and it's a 4-on-2 beatdown. But then Dominik Dijakovic shows up and by himself takes out all 4 of Undisputed Era, including hitting the Feast Your Eyes on Adam Cole.
Yeah.
And he picks up Ciampa, and he extends his hand. He says, I hear you're going to war. He wants in the War Games.
Yep.
And he gets it. Ciampa shakes his hand, and he goes to turn around to leave, and he just does that classic where his body completely turns around before his head actually looks. Because you know what's coming. Keith Lee is standing right there, face to face. Keith Lee goes for a handshake. We get the good old handshake of respect. Welcome to the team, my good sir. So Dominik Dijakovic is now officially...
And we're sure Matt Riddle probably would give him a fist bump if he wasn't unconscious on the outside.
Yeah, apparently nobody gives a fuck about Matt Riddle, because they just stand in the ring, the 3 of them, and stare down Undisputed Era, who's still on the ramp for some fucking reason. But they just leave Matt Riddle to suffer on the outside. He's done.
Let's go ahead and knock this out, though. We get the announcement that Matt Riddle has actually been effectively pulled out of that match so they can make the match for him versus Finn Balor at TakeOver War Games.
And so instead of Dijakovic being the 4th member, he is now being the member to replace Matt Riddle.
And we've also been confirmed that Johnny Gargano is not cleared to wrestle. So right now it's just up in the air. If you guys have an idea of who could be the 4th member, if you want to go ahead and throw it in on the chat.
Welcome, Ken Terminated by Google. He says, Good morning, yo.
Yeah.
Mark's Reviews wanted to know who we think the 4th member of Ciampa's team is going to be. And honestly, I have no idea.
No.
I can't think of one superstar on the NXT roster that is both main event and cleared to wrestle and doesn't already have a match. The only thing I can think is maybe somebody from the NXT UK roster. But we will, I guess, find out next week, because we don't get to know by the end of the show if there's a 4th member. It seems like the kind of thing that shouldn't happen by the end of the show, because you just found out that you lost another member.
Or maybe somebody's going to be coming back from the WWE roster.
I can't imagine who it would be, but we shall see. In the meantime, outside we have more females laid out on the ground. It's dark now. Marina Shafir's down, Jessamine Duke's down, and just to show there is no favoritism, Candice LeRae's laid out too. So heels, faces,
Everybody.
they're laying out everybody.
It doesn't matter.
So we know that this is not a heel member of the NXT roster that attacked Rhea Ripley and Tegan Nox. This is in fact somebody from Raw or SmackDown that's attacking the females of NXT. That's basically what you get out of this, other than the fact that Triple H is now interested in this attack because he's out there. And my sighting of the night,
Go ahead.
Bordeaux.
Scarlet Bordeaux.
Bordeaux. That's all I need to say. Scarlet Bordeaux's out there. And God damn, is she sexy. That's all I'm going to say. Our next match of the night, Isaiah Swerve Scott versus Bronson Reed. I think this is a rematch? Is this a rematch?
No.
I feel like this is a rematch. I feel like I've seen these two in the ring before. But anyway, pretty good fucking match. I have no complaints.
No. There's really no reason to complain because they're both like top talents now. Bronson Reed, he initially didn't have me sold because he just seemed like, a massive version from Australia instead. So, but actually, that's a comment I made that Dave Mastiff and him should be a team in NXT UK.
Cleaver Colin Andrew asked, do you think Dakota is going to get involved in War Games match, costing Team Ripley the match? We will get to that.
Yeah, probably.
I don't want to talk about the women's War Games match until we get to the end of the ladder match for the advantage. So remind me later. Just the notes here, dude. Okay, so my first note is for Bronson Reed, who is coming off the ropes, and Swerve goes to duck under him, or to lay down under him, so he runs over him, and instead Bronson just slowly steps over him and sits down on his lower back, and Swerve is just in pain. He's like, too much weight, and then he hits two of those, what do they call it, I've lost my notes, bonsai drops to his lower back, and then just picks him up like he's going to go for a belly-to-back, or a belly-to-belly suplex, but ends up just kind of slinging Swerve over the top rope to the outside. That was nuts. Back in the ring, Bronson sets up for a tombstone off the middle rope. Off the middle turnbuckle. This was about to be something you've never seen before.
Yeah.
For a reason. But no, Swerve gets out of that, kicks him in the head, and then kicks him off the ropes and does that half draping DDT near fall. Reed counters that rolling flatliner, because Swerve hits it at one point in the match where Reed's coming off the ropes, where he does that rolling thunder into a flatliner.
Mm-hmm.
But general rule number 4, if at first the move succeeds, don't fucking try it again. Don't go to the well more than once. They say it all the time. Well, he did, and instead, Reed catches him in midair and hits him with a fucking lowdown. Not a lowdown. What was the other move called? Damn it. Sky High. He hits him with a Sky High, and then picks him up and hits him with what they called an Amori driver. Whatever that means. For a near fall. Swerve kicks out. That was nuts. It looked like he was playing it right on the back of his neck. But then he dodges a sit-out bomb. I don't know what else to call it. Where Bronson, he goes to do a sunset bomb, and he's underneath Bronson. So Bronson goes to jump up and land his ass on his chest. And Swerve rolls out of the way, and then just jumps up and kicks him in the side of the head with what he calls, what does he call it? The house call.
Yep.
That just single leg kick to the side of the head. 1, 2, 3. Swerve gets the victory. Good match.
Excellent.
Really good match.
And then there's a little bit of show of respect at the end.
Yeah, we get the handshake up to respect, but whatever, they're baby.
But then Bronson actually leans in and whispers something to him. It looked like.
I think he asked him if he had any Excedrin.
Yeah, probably.
Yeah, I think he's got a headache. Breaking news: Finn Balor versus Matt Riddle will be taking place at War Games. I know he already said that, but this is where the announcement actually happens, and it lets us know that Riddle will be replaced by Dijakovic, which means that Team Ciampa is still a member down.
All right, but
stay tuned for updates.
But before we get into the next match or anything, let's go ahead and address the Jordan Miles thing. We'll slide this in real quick while we have people actually watching.
Yeah.
If you guys have been keeping up, Jordan Miles did this profanity-laden tweet video actually, saying that he is quitting the company because they are racist, because of the Jordan Miles t-shirt that they came out with. And one of the questions I posed on our bar was, do we think this is a heel? Do we think this is actually going on, or do we think it's a work? So I'm starting to think more and more this could be a work, and maybe we're gonna get like a Nation of Domination type thing going on in NXT.
If this isn't a work, then I feel like Jordan Miles is just, and I hate to, just dumb. He is just dumb. If all of the information that has come out is the truth, then the shirt was available, or was never available. The shirt was never actually put out for sale. It was just a test shirt, and he was shown the shirt before anybody else to approve it. He approved it, and then a month later, he said something about it looking racist. And they said they moved swiftly to get rid of that shirt and to change it, so it never made circulation. And then it wasn't until a month later, after he told them and after they started the process of getting a new shirt done, that he starts to say anything about it. So he approved it 2 months ago, and then first said something to WWE 1 month ago, and then now he's saying something publicly.
Yeah.
And I can understand that, but at the same time, I can understand whoever draws up the T-shirts for NXT. I can understand them making the mistake because they just didn't see it the way that somebody would see it that considers it offensive.
From what I gather, it was supposed to be like initially when you saw it was on a white shirt, but then when it's on a black shirt, yeah, it does look kind of offensive.
I can understand that, but Jordan Miles is an extremely smiley guy.
Yeah.
So I can also understand a person that's like, okay, let's take the letters of his name and turn it into a smile.
Yeah.
They just put it on the wrong color fucking shirt. They'd put it on any other shirt, save, let's say, brown.
Yeah.
Then it probably would have been okay. Maybe. Maybe not. I don't know.
Brown's kind of borderline, but it's the whole blackface thing, I think, that really got to him.
I get it. But if he was going to say something, then he should have said something publicly when he said something to them, or not say anything at all. It screams work to me.
My thing is, I think Triple H and Vince actually did have the idea for the shirt, but then they're like, they drew up the idea, looked at it, it's like, oh, we're going to hell for this one. It's like, well, hear me out then. And then they probably had some sort of, like, a talk with Jordan Miles, like, we're going to play you up as, like, super, supremacist type thing where it's like you think everything's going to be offensive, you're going to think you're being held back. And that's where I think the whole Nation of Domination thing would actually come to play pretty well. Because then you'd have, like, Keith Lee. He can make the heel turn down there saying he's never getting title shots or whatnot. And that he's being held back, so he'd be a member of the group.
I think it's maybe 3 or 4 years too late, but there is a movement in culture that makes this a decent storyline for the time.
I was about to say that what threw off the New Day from becoming like a great heel faction that they were going to be was the Ferguson incident. If that hadn't happened, we'd probably be seeing like them doing like almost a whole Nation of Domination type thing instead of throwing pancakes out in the fucking crowd.
Yeah, it looks like that's where they were headed.
Xavier Woods was already dressed like Louis Farrakhan, and you had like Big E and Kofi Kingston both in nice suits, but they were just, very quiet, very stoic.
Hold that thought. Shout out to Israel Diaz, our main man. He says, oh, he's just talking to Colin. Never mind. Right. Okay, so my thing is, Jordan Miles is injured.
Yeah.
He's out right now no matter what.
And this would be a perfect time for him to build heat like that.
So they can he can say all he wants that he quits, and they can confirm it. Mm-hmm. Sure, why not? They've done it before. And then when he heals and he comes back from injury, it'll be a complete surprise, and he can come in with a bunch of guys and make it like a new Nation of Domination kind of thing. Why the fuck not?
That'd be awesome, and then they can actually like come into full sale through the audience, like pretty much the whole like we bought tickets kind of thing. It's like, well, you gonna pat us down? or something.
Yeah, there's all kinds of ways you can go with this. So I think right now, I think it's a work. I think he's being a little too over the top for it to be a good decision.
Mm-hmm.
Honestly, like that's my big reason to think it's a work. Like if it's not a work, what is he doing?
He's even getting rid of the Jordan Miles name and going back to ACH.
I mean, I just feel like he's alienating himself in the wrestling community because if it's this bad for something that they tried to fix, what wrestling company is going to want to work with him for fear that they might do something, without intention that ends up getting them bad heat? And they're not, independent companies aren't like WWE. They can't just come back from negative heat.
No.
I mean, WWE went to Saudi Arabia after Saudi Arabia killed a fucking Turkish ambassador. Like,
well,
they can get away with negative heat.
Even then, they're more or less held captive there. They extended the deal with them.
Israel Diaz says, Reed is growing on me. Likewise. Not as fast as his stomach grows, but growing on me nonetheless. I don't think he's going to reach the point that Matt Riddle or even Cameron Grimes has thus far.
No.
As far as growing on me. But I see him as a better wrestler than I did during the breakout tournament. I'll leave it at that. So let's move on. We get a video promo for the Forgotten Sons, because without these, you just forget about them.
Yeah.
It's in the name, folks. What the fuck are they going to do with these guys? Like, Jackson Riker would be a great guy to add to Team Ciampa, but he's a heel.
Yeah.
I'm still fucking perplexed on that. I don't know who they're going to add. I think they have wasted their babyface main event talent, and so whoever it is going to end up being a surprise. But yeah, again, video package for NXT, always great.
Mm-hmm.
Our next to last match of the night, we've got Pete Dunne versus Killian Dane, and this match doesn't even start.
No.
I would call it a no contest, but the opening bell didn't even ring. On Killian Dane's way to the ring, he gets attacked from behind by Damian Priest. He gets laid out. Priest comes down the ramp, and he basically, like, with his face, signals for Pete Dunne, yeah, come get me, motherfucker. And Pete Dunne does. He comes at him, and they battle, and then they get in the ring. They get broken up, again, by officials, just on standby at this point. And while they've got Pete Dunne tied up, he gets kicked in the face by Damian Priest. And then Priest starts laying out the officials, picks one guy up in the razor's edge and throws him outside onto everybody.
Yep.
Lays them all out. And then Pete Dunne and Killian Dane get back up. And he runs off the ropes and does that step-up tope con hilo over the top rope onto Killian Dane and Pete Dunne. Lays them out and heads up the ring like, that's what I do. That's what he does, apparently.
I come in, I tear shit up, I leave. So I'm thinking we're going to get that as a triple threat match, either as a dark match for TakeOver, which would be kind of a waste, I think, or it'll be one of the mid-card matches, or, yeah, the other match that we won't get that's not a War Games match.
There is no reason for this match to be a dark match.
No.
Because if it's a dark match, you're not going to see it, because they don't do that anymore.
No.
I feel like if they're going to have dark matches, it needs to be NXT UK matches, and use those for NXT UK television.
Yeah.
And maybe do an NXT UK War Games match, because you've got Imperium, you've got Gallus that now has Ilya Dragunov. We will talk more about that tomorrow on the NXT party.
That would actually work out pretty well, because that would probably take up like at least 35, 45 minutes.
That'll be
one episode.
Be the entirety of the dark matches. Maybe one brief match for them to put on during the first 30 minutes of nothing but promos and shit of NXT UK, and then the last half of the show will be just the War Games match.
No, I would just have that War Games match just be the episode. I know I usually don't like the one. I wouldn't want. I don't like the whole one episode thing.
I just feel like my only negative here is that if you take War Games out of War Games, the pay-per-view, well, in this case the TakeOver, and you put it on NXT UK television, it kind of dampens the idea of War Games. I mean, we're already wearing it thin having a men's and a women's. But to have an NXT UK one and it not even be on TakeOver, it be on regular NXT UK television, streaming television at that. It's not even on USA or anything. Yeah, I feel like it waters down the War Games cage a little bit. That's just my thoughts. Any more? Oh, they're just chatting amongst themselves. We're back down to 3 viewers, so awesome. Anyway, yeah, this breaks down and eventually we just basically go to commercial. They have an interview with Mia Yim. Kathy Kelly is asking her about the attacks and if she's prepared, knowing that she's got this important ladder match, and she's like, they can come at me from any angle. Boom, that's what she said. And then Dakota Kai comes in, and she tells Mia Yim that there's no hard feelings. You know, she got selected, whatever. But if something goes down tonight, she's going to be in Mia Yim's corner, and she's going to have her back. So, that's cool.
At this point, that kind of screams double cross.
I mean, eventually, right? Yeah.
Yeah.
So, before the main event, we get an announcement for next week. Adam Cole versus Dominik Dijakovic. Ladder match for the men's advantage in War Games. Oh, man. I never thought I'd want to see 2 ladder matches 2 weeks in a row, but, man, I cannot wait to see that ladder match. That is going to be something special. Holy shit.
I think for this one, I do believe Dijakovic's going to pull it off, because I think we're going to introduce a 4th member of Team Ciampa that night.
Because it is no holds barred. I mean, the only way to win is to climb the ladder and grab the briefcase. And you saw that in this match, because even though it was a pretty good match for a ladder match, it was a pretty great match for any other match. But for a ladder match, it was a pretty good match. Up until the end, and then at the end, there was just, it breaks down. There's all kinds of shenanigans.
I think it's the first, I think they made mention this was the first women's ladder match of its kind.
Yeah, in NXT, I guess.
Yeah.
It's kind of sucks that it's kind of, flipping. It's kind of afterthought. It's just for the advantage for War Games, like the advantage for a bigger first match. But whatever, take what you can get. What do you think about the main event, Jerry?
I thought it was brilliantly executed, and I'm going to say this right now, I got a newfound respect for Mia Yim. Like,
a little bit, yeah.
Yeah, she's been growing on me little by little. I still hate the whole head baddie in charge. If they would just drop that.
Just call her a bitch. You're on USA TV now. You could say bitch. Head bitch in charge.
It's not even that. Just go ahead and just drop that whole thing. Just have her be fucking Mia Yim.
No.
She's from the block.
No, fuck it.
She's from the block.
Just quit using the word baddie. That's all we ask.
Yeah.
There was a big spot in this match. We said there was blood, and yeah, the show ends with a lot more blood. Not just Aaliyah spitting up a little bit. Io Shirai does a springboard drop kick to Mia Yim.